Now, when it comes to choosing a new driver in 2023, naturally your attention will be drawn to the big four brands, so Ping, Titleist, Callaway and TaylorMade. But there are some excellent options outside of that you should definitely consider. That's what we're going to talk about in this video, Neil, because I think it's fair to say outside those big four brands, performance has become really competitive and they've really challenged those big four brands. So that's what we're going to cover in this video.
Definitely, and I would just throw Cobra into the mix there. Cobra have produced some brilliant drivers over the last couple of years that have really impressed me. Slightly lower price point, and that's what we've got actually from some of the models down here. The three that we've selected though stood out for me for quite different reasons, and I think they're worth throwing in the mix as a contender to consider.
Definitely. So these are three of the most underrated drivers that we think are really going to blow your socks off in 2023. I'm going to hand you your first one.
Go for it.
This is a Strixon driver. Tell us a bit about why you've chosen this one first.
Well, I've chosen this Strixon ZX7, and a lot of people will be watching it thinking, well, yeah, of course it's a great driver, but it probably isn't going to get the limelight that some of those other models that I've talked about, well, certainly the Callaway Paradigm, the TaylorMade Stealth 2, the Ping G430 drivers are going to get. But it's played on tour, looks fantastic, feels great, and in my testing, it was the ZX7, so the slightly smaller of the two heads that perform the best. We'll put on the screen the data from my testing session, but I'll hit a couple of shots now, so hopefully you can get a feel for what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I remember when you finished testing this, you told me how much you liked hitting this driver, how well it feels and sounds, I think, and also how well it looks as well. So let's see one. Look at that, soft draw.
And if you want a matte black finish this year, this is a great one to try. It's really slimline down behind the ball. It's got this nice silver bit of detailing around the periphery of the head. It's a lovely shape. It's a beautiful driver. And what I liked most about it was the consistency. So I felt like when I was testing it, there were certain drivers that I sort of clicked with and I felt in control of. I hit the ZX5. I struggled a little bit with the ZX5. As soon as I put the 7 in, suddenly I was hitting the ball kind of how I was hoping to.
I think at your swing speed, the lower spin this driver head offers is going to be right for you. Another straight one, a little bit higher. But what's great about the ZX7 is you've got movable weight as well, which not all drivers offer, even from the big brands.
No, movable weight, really like the ZX7 from Strixon. It comes in with a recommended retail price in the UK of $499, so well worth considering.
Definitely. Joel? Right, let's move on to your next one. Now this is a bit left field, this one.
This is left field, yes.
Talk to me about what it is and why you've chosen it.
Well, I have not tested a Yonex driver for a couple of years, and this one came across my radar and I hit it. I was immediately reminded why I used to like Yonex drivers, and that's because of the stability that you get with their shafts.
Yeah.
They obviously know what they're doing when it comes to delivering good shaft head combinations, and as soon as I hit it, it surprised me. I was like, oh yeah, that's controllable, it's stable. Yeah, it's got that carbon effect on the crown, but it's a matte finish as well, not dissimilar to what you get with Strixon. A simple alignment aid on it. It does sit slightly closed at address, so if you're worried about hitting it left, that might not necessarily work for you. I quite liked how it looked. It's a bit more stretched back than the Strixon. As I say, it was the performance that impressed me. I've pushed that, but
it's coming back a little bit.
It wants to come back, doesn't it? And as I say, I hit that right out the toe, high on the face. But that's a playable. That's not going to be. It's going to be in the rough probably, but it's not going to be awful. And it launches high. And it performs well.
I think the sound is going to turn a few heads on the range. It's got that sound like the Ping G425 driver, quite loud and tinny, but quite powerful as well.
It's a point of difference, actually, Joel, from what you get with most of the drivers on the market this year. Most of them have been tuned down a bit. It feels like, for the most part, they're a little bit more muted, they're a little bit more powerful sounding. This one sits at the other end of the spectrum in terms of sound and feel.
Even with that carbon crown as well, it still has a lot of feedback off the face. Another straight ball there.
Better one.
And it's adjustable as well, so you can tweak it, get custom fitted for it, get it really dialed in. And I mean, how does it compare with the leading drivers, the best drivers?
Well, have a look at the data is there to see. It performed well, it stacks up well in terms of distance. So yeah, and for a driver that does come in significantly less than some of the ones that are right at the top, it's a contender. If you're looking for a good driver from a premium brand that isn't going to cost you quite as much, then this Yonex E-Zone GS iTech is well worth testing for.
Definitely, and it's a bit of a sleeper, and it was the same with the irons as well, so check out the irons, they're also really good. Right, so your last choice, Neil, for your underrated drivers is a Mizuno. They've made good drivers for the last few years.
No, I feel like I've been saying this for a few years.
Yeah.
I just don't see very many on the golf course. It always surprises me because I think if you just have one look at the driver head, it's the same with the Fairway Woods. They've sort of managed to figure out a way of making sure that the drivers compete with their irons in terms of how good they look. But they also have the shelf appeal with the blue. It's called a Core-Tech chamber that sits on the sole. It's a design feature that should help with speed and spin and consistency, all of those things from the driver. I think it looks superb.
So is there a couple of models to choose from? What have you gone for?
There's two to go for. There's an X version, and it's a bit unusual with the Mizuno range. So with the Mizuno range, there's an X version which has a draw bias to it, but that's a slightly more compact head. Usually the draw bias versions are slightly bigger, some of them are slightly offset. This one sits beautifully square down behind the ball and is more compact, but it has that draw bias. I feel like of all the drivers I tested this year, all the brands, this is the one that I would most recommend. I'd recommend getting fitted for all of them, but this one in particular.
Right.
Because I think that it just depends the way that you deliver the club to the ball, which one might be right for you. The good thing is they both look superb.
Sure. Well, let's see one. You are right though, we're seeing a lot of tour players wanting a bit more draw bias in their drivers, which is probably why Mizuno have gone down this route. But that has a really nice thud to it, impact.
Really nice sound.
That feels really, I mean, it sounds really nice. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels superb. It's a classic titanium sound and feel. Wherever you hit it on the face, that's what you get. As you'll see from the data, it wasn't necessarily the longest driver that I hit, but as I said, it's that consistency that I really liked, and I think I could probably also make a few tweaks to the setup to get the distance up a bit if I wanted to, but I found it very playable on the launch monitor, so
yeah.
I wouldn't be making my driver choice this year based on distance. I think they all go a long way. It's the consistency where that makes the big difference, and I think this Mizuno driver does stand up in that front.
Yeah, you're right. You know, Mizuno known for being a brand or iron company, but their woods have made really big strides in the last few years. And that is demonstrating it right there. Beautiful.
Doesn't it? It sounds really good.
Yeah, great.
This driver, it's a bit higher pitch than you'll get from the likes of, I think the TaylorMade Stealth 2, perhaps the Callaway Paradigm as well. But it sounds really solid, and as I say, it's that consistency of feel that I really love about this driver.
So there you have it. If you're looking for a new driver in 2023 and you're looking to save a few dollars, we think these are three of the standout choices this year. But Neil, I'm going to push you for your overall favourite, because you've got three strong contenders here, all similar price points. If you had to pick one for the most underrated driver of 2023, what would you go for?
If I was going to put one of these in the bag, it would be the Strixon ZX7.
Okay.
I just think it ticks every box in terms of that slightly more compact shape. I feel like it's a bit more workable, which when I'm on the golf course, I'm not the best player in the world, but I do tend to try to every now and again shape the ball in a different way. So that slightly more workable head would probably be the way I'd go. Do you know, one quick thing I'm going to shout out is the head cover for the Mizuno driver, which I think is the best on the market this year. Whether or not you want to pick your driver based on the head cover, that's up to you. But if I had to pick one of these three, I think it would be the Strixon ZX7.
Some excellent insights there, Neil, especially into the head cover. But that's all from us. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do click the like button if you liked it. From the excellent driving range here at Black Bear Golf Club in Florida, we'll see you next time.